What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActiveMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to review the series Say Nothing. I'm not even going to try to say season one because there's no season two that's coming to this. That would be bizarre. I know that they did that to Shogun, uh, but I suppose they could turn it into a anthology series where there's like some other place in the world where people also needed to stay silent, or I don't know, but I do not foresee this. This has to be a limited series. I know we're trying to turn things into, but I don't see a path forward for this. It's got to be limited. It's got to stay limited. It has audio description on Hulu. It's an FX on Hulu, and absolutely should be a dominant force in the awards consideration. Um, and this is coming from somebody who I was a little bit mixed heading into it, and uh, I didn't mind how the show started. Liked the first episode. But then episodes 2, 3, and 4, I felt like were kind of just dragging a little bit and kind of just like, I was like, oh, is this whole thing about like the creation of the IRA? Where are we going with this? I was like, I don't want to watch 9 episodes of this at this pace. Episode 5 hits in, and you've got, I mean, that was an intense episode. And then from there on to the end, you either have complete heaviness and weight and sort of extremes and heavy emotions and weight that comes from things. The back half of this season is phenomenal. Like episodes 5 through 9 are just stunning, just absolutely. Even though I didn't love it from beginning to end, I would still vote for this, like hands down, because some of those episodes were some of the best episodes of television I've seen in 2024. So individual episodes. So it may be something that takes a minute to get going as it's establishing the characters, but you have to have the faith that it is building to something. It's just trying to show you the beginning stages, and it's working its way towards something. It doesn't immediately, this is not something that's action packed from beginning to end, or that is emotionally devastating for 9 episodes. That has the same level. It builds, and then once it builds and it hits, and then it drops off. It has this emotional baggage that it's carrying with it to the end of the film. It sort of it opens up on a on a character that'll become more important by the end of the series. But we see a lady sort of abducted in the middle of the night, and her, taken away from her kids. And then we also see the IRA soldiers. We focus sort of heavily on Dolores and her sister. Dolores is played by Lola Pettigrew, who absolutely has earned herself an Emmy nomination in a phenomenal performance. Most of this cast are actually, I would say all of this cast, for the most part, of people I'm largely unfamiliar with. Just like I need to actually click on their IMDb, all of them, to see what it is that they've done. Like by name, I went through the whole cast and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was expecting to see some Irish talent that I was instantaneously familiar with, that people would jump on board with this. But it feels sort of a little bit like Shogun, which was an excellent series, but I didn't necessarily know the cast of Shogun going into it either. So, but it didn't stop me from loving Shogun. So, to compare the two about very specific shows about the way that a country was sort of born and built in Northern Ireland, and the status of it, and like the wars. Obviously, feudal Japan is further in the past, but this IRA period for Northern Ireland is like forever caked in blood, part of what Northern Ireland is and always will be, as part of their history. It's like the Civil War is for us. Like we can't not have that in our history. Like it happened, good or bad, it happened. It's there. You can hate it, valid. Probably should. I mean, let's be honest. If you're somebody who thought that was cool, don't know what to do for you. Seek mental help. Anyway, yeah, so this is a really strong series with some really great acting, and the audio description was really good. I don't want to like reveal the whole thing, even though it's historical, because I really think I want you to feel the beats. I want you to trust me enough on this journey to know that by episode 5 till the end, I think you'll be like white knuckling till the end. It's like going up the roller coaster, and you're like, but you can't see the other side of it, and you're like, no, this is boring. I'm just going up. But it's maybe not like the steepest incline, so you don't really realize how far you've gone up. It's like slowly, it's just taking a while, and you're like, oh god, and then you get to the top, and then it's just like a straight drop down. It's not even like it's just like it's just like a vertical drop. It's like, oh my god. That's how I felt going from episode 4 to 5. Is episode 4, I was like, it was pretty good. I thought it was fine. You know, I'm still waiting to be wowed. And then episode 5 came along. I was like, oh my god, this episode is so intense. And then episode 6 hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was in. So yeah, Lola Pettigrew as Dolores she has a hell of a performance throughout the course of the thing. She's not the first character that you meet, but she is. I also it's really hard to use things like heart and soul for people who do horrible things. The most compelling character, the one with the most development, those are sort of like when you lock into Dolores and you see the complexity behind her and the choices that she's making. That's what the story is. But it's hard to look at some of the things that they've done and to say, well, these are good people, because they're not. So you're not like rooting for people. I'm not going to say like, oh, Dolores was my hero. She's not the hero of the story. That's not what this is either. Although maybe to some people she is. It's for a different debate, and that's for an Irish debate. But there's stuff here that haunts her, obviously, and that's the weight that she feels throughout the course of the series. I would say episode 6 was hard to watch and made me angry at British government for like one specific reason, which is just like, regardless of even people when they do terrible things, I would not have put. I don't know that it affects men as much to put 2 dudes. You know, like if you have somebody who's like, you did a terrible thing, we're going to put you in a woman's jail. But to put 2 women in a man's jail is like a bit much, you know, even for what they did. Like, you can put them in a normal fucking jail. Like, you don't have to put them in with dudes. So, regardless of anything else that they may or may not argue that they needed, and they're like, well, we don't accept we don't recognize the British government, blah, blah, blah. We consider ourselves to be, you know, prisoners of war, you know, stuff like that. I'm taking all of that aside. Simply, they should have been in a women's prison. So, that is true. That is the one thing that I'm not going to sympathize with the violence or excuse violence or anything like that happens in this movie. But if the British government wants to hold this up to the flame here, that is where you fucked up. That is, we fuck up over here in America too. We had these things called Japanese internment camps during World War II. It was a fuck up. We fucked that up. Like that should not be up for debate. You know, so that's obviously not the same thing, because that affected way more people, but then just 2 girls. But still, when you look at this, that is the one thing where you go, oh, I'm not supposed to like these people, but damn, really? You know, like, damn. Yeah, that's where I felt like people went a little bit too far on the other end too. So, course correction. What I really think is interesting about the show is that it ends every episode by saying Jerry Adams has always denied his involvement in the IRA. And it's like, clearly the writers of this show do not believe you. So have fun with that. um, I don't even know. I guess that's how they got to go on the air, is by saying Jerry Adams denies involvement, Jerry Adams denies involvement, Jerry Adams denies involvement, Jerry Adams denies involvement after every episode. It's just like, uh-huh. Yeah, and I'm sure everyone who watches this is gonna believe that. It's gonna be like, oh, well, it's all bullshit, because at the end of the thing it says Jerry Adams. So sometimes art is stronger than the text at the end. You can say all you want at the end. Jerry Adams denies being human. I don't know, but it's like they're still gonna watch the show, and it's obviously coming from some perspective, and there's a reason it's here. So good luck with that, Jerry Adams. See how Say Nothing represents you. But yeah, that's it. I'm done. I don't really understand Irish culture or politics enough to be able to discuss it in detail in terms of the IRA and stuff like that. But I thought this was powerful, and bare minimum, I think Lola Pettigrew has to come along with a nomination here. There are other cast members too, but if I had to signal the one performance where I'm like, this performance, because I don't know what are limited series. We've still got like the rest of the year before the Emmys, like between now and the end of May. But I don't see myself pulling Lola Pettigrew out of consideration. So, yeah, we'd have to have one crazy ass year for me to be like, well, we didn't have room for what I would have nominated for an Academy Award if this was a movie. So, check it out. Unfortunately, my grade is not going to be that high for it because, like I said, I felt like it kind of started slow. But at the end, the last episodes 5 to 9 are like, oh my god. So I do have a little bit of hard time as a series coming up with a grade, like how do I balance that? So I'm gonna give Say Nothing a B plus, but still with a really strong, like, please get through enjoy the ride, while enjoy the slow climb up the mountain, because when you get to 5 and go episodes 5 through 9, I really think it's a hell of a show. So thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.